You ever get that feeling you're watching a political tennis match? The ball just flies back and forth. One side furiously undoes everything the other side just did, and the whole cycle just repeats. It's this constant sense of whiplash, of gridlock. Well, today we're going to dig into a really powerful concept that helps explain why it feels that way. So, take a look at this. It's a two-headed horse, right? And it's caught between two options, pulling in completely opposite directions. And because of that, it's totally stuck. Now, it's a weird image, for sure, but it's an incredible metaphor for our political system, a system that often feels paralyzed by its own internal tug-of-war. Okay, so to really understand why this idea of being stuck is so important here, we actually have to go way back and look at a classic philosophical puzzle. It's often called the donkey's dilemma.
It's known as Buridan's paradox. So picture this. You've got a perfectly rational donkey. It's equally hungry and thirsty, and you place it at the exact midpoint between a pile of hay and a bucket of water. With no logical reason to choose one over the other first, what does it do? It chooses nothing, and it starves. It's a pretty stark example of how perfect opposition can lead to complete and kind of tragic paralysis.
So, how in the world does a centuries-old paradox about a donkey connect to our politics today? Well, it's actually the perfect setup for understanding what some have called the Accordion Effect, or, a political pendulum.
A pendulum that moves but does not advance. That phrase just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? One party gets into power and swings policy way over to their side. Then, a few years later, the other party wins and swings it all the way back. You get all this movement, all this energy, but are we actually getting anywhere? Is there any real forward progress?
And that right there is the key. This constant back and forth. It's not a sign of a dynamic, healthy system. It's actually the opposite. Think of it like running on a treadmill. You're putting in a ton of effort, but you're not actually going anywhere. Every step forward eventually gets canceled out. And the result? We end up right back where we started, just stuck.
So, what's the engine driving this pendulum? The argument we're looking at says it's not just a simple disagreement over policy. No, it's something much, much deeper. It's become a duel of identities.
So on this slide, you can see the two competing visions kind of laid out. One side promises this forceful return to a lost golden age. The other promises a radical redistribution of wealth to fix inequality. Now, both are really powerful stories, but notice how they're almost completely defined by what they're against. It's a revolt against globalism, or a response to inequality.
And this quote just captures the problem perfectly. Politics has become a duel of identities, in which each side only exists by negating the other. Just think about that for a second. It's become less about building a shared vision for the future and way more about just defeating the other team. Your whole political identity is built on what you're not. And in that kind of world, any compromise feels like a total betrayal.
It really is like being a die-hard fan of a football team. You wear the jersey, you cheer for your side no matter what, and the most important thing is seeing the other team lose. And that's what our politics can feel like, right? It becomes tribal, emotional, and not so much a rational, strategic discussion about what's actually best for everyone.
All right, so if the big problem is these two extremes pulling everything apart, you're probably thinking the solution is obvious. We just need to find that vanishing center again, right?
Is it really that simple? Is the answer just to meet in the middle, find some lukewarm, middle-of-the-road compromise and call it a day?
No. Emphatically no. And this is such an important point. The goal is not to become Buridan's donkey, just paralyzed in the middle, getting neither the hay nor the water. A weak, indecisive center that gets nothing done is just another kind of paralysis.
So instead of that, the real solution requires something totally different. It means forging a new path. It's not about finding a weaker center, it's about building a stronger, smarter, more pragmatic one.
And here's what that stronger center actually looks like. The real challenge isn't choosing between a big state and a small one. It's about building a smart state. A state that knows when to step back and let the market do its thing, but also knows when to step in with real force to fix things when the market fails. Investing in things like education, infrastructure, security, all the stuff that gives everyone a fair shot. It is an active approach, not a passive one.
This slide really breaks down the shift in thinking. For way too long, the debate has been framed as this either-or choice. You can have state control, or you can have private competition. The shift here is simple, but it's profound. Get rid of that or and replace it with and. The new goal isn't one or the other. It's both. an efficient state working together with the competitive market. And that leads us to this really chilling final thought. When we're stuck deep inside our own echo chambers, it's so easy to believe that our truth is the only truth, and it can be genuinely terrifying to even consider that the other side might also have a point. But it's that very fear that keeps us trapped on that endless pendulum.
So we're left with this really big question. In a world of echoes where algorithms are literally designed to feed our divisions, how do we break the cycle? How do we finally stop the endless swing of the pendulum and actually start to move forward together?